Today is February 26, 2024. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo's Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, a few things on today's program. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem visited Donald Trump today at his Florida home at Mar-a-Lago, and ostensibly to be interviewed for the position as Trump's running mate, the vice presidential position. Several people have been put in that finals list by Donald Trump, including Governors Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem, U.S. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina, former candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, New York State Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, and the former Hawaii Congresswoman, Democrat turned independent, reasonably conservative in some areas, Tulsi Gabbard. And she was actually a candidate back in 2016, I believe. Or maybe it was 2020. Maybe it was 2020 going against Joe Biden. But she's in that finals list. And Tulsi Gabbard, at one time, I believe, had been pro-life. I think her dad is a Hawaii lawmaker who has a pro-life past. And I think she started off pro-life and then she kind of slithered into a pro-abortion position. So all the other candidates are pro-life except her. And, she seems to be getting more conservative by the day. And it's very possible, I'd like to think, that Tulsi Gabbard could come back to her pro-life roots. So we'll see. Time will tell on that. But when I read the article about Kristi Noem in the finals list, the article also mentioned that she and the state's, I believe, Attorney General had issued a policy that basically reminded everybody in the state that it is against the law for a pharmacy in South Dakota to administer or prescribe the 2 abortion pill, from chemical abortions. It's against state law for a pharmacy to administer or to fill that prescription for that drug, and you can be prosecuted if you do it. So that's good news. That places like South Dakota, as well as other places like Alabama and Oklahoma, maybe even Indiana, really, really pro-life states. And it's really exciting and encouraging to see people like Kristi Noem with strong pro-life convictions and really being a strong leader in this area. Unlike Michigan, who we at the state level, we have no leadership at all with our current governor and the state legislature in the hands of pro-abortion Democrats. It's really sad that here in Michigan, we're struggling to find a pro-life leader. In other states, they're all over the place. Okay. The main news, the big news, actually came out last week, coming from Alabama. Mentioning Alabama as a pro-life state. The state Supreme Court voted 8-1. Now, that's a pretty convincing majority vote, 8-1, that frozen embryos could not be destroyed at in vitro fertilization fertility clinics. The court ruled that unborn children are human beings, and the state's wrongful death can now include, the wrongful death law can now include them if destroyed at IVF clinics. Well, this is an amazing opinion. This is what Chief Justice Tom Parker wrote when he issued his own concurring opinion. So he didn't write the actual opinion, but this is his concurring opinion. Quote, "A good judge follows the Constitution instead of policy, except when the Constitution itself commands the judge to follow a certain policy. In these cases, that means upholding the sanctity of unborn life, including unborn life that exists outside the womb. This state acknowledges, declares, and affirms that it is the public policy of this state to recognize and support the sanctity of unborn life and the rights of unborn children, including the right to life. Unquote. It's noted that the Alabama Constitution does not expressly define the phrase sanctity of unborn life. Unquote. The goal of constitutional interpretation is to discern the original public meaning, which is the meaning the people understood a provision to have at the time they were enacted. Constitutional interpretation must start with the text, but must include the context of the time in which it was adopted. As expected, the liberal media has gone, it is a little gasket when this ruling came out about frozen embryos. But the 8-1 vote in this court proves that Alabama is not listening to the outside voices who want to impose abortion rights on the citizens of the state. So 3 cheers for the Alabama State Supreme Court. Okay, turning the corner, there's a petition drive being circulated even as we speak in the state of Arkansas to put on the ballot a proposed state constitutional amendment, just like Michigan's Prop 3, Ohio's Issue 1. I mentioned maybe 2 weeks ago about the petition that's being pushed down in Florida. They're coming all over the place. But if successful, it would write abortion into the state constitution of Arkansas. It would go beyond Roe by permitting health exceptions for abortions through all stages of pregnancy, even when a viable child could be delivered instead of aborted. It may even be more radical than Michigan's Proposal 3 by nullifying parental consent and informed consent requirements. If the petition drive is successful, it will be on the ballot in November of 2024, this fall. Hopefully, Arkansas's conservative majority will defeat this pro-abortion referendum. And I truly believe that some states have more Christian-leaning, more conservative citizens than other states. I mean, places like California, New York, and Illinois, and tragically, maybe even here in Michigan, we don't have the number of conservative voters that we need to kill some of these crazy state referendums. But Arkansas may be a good example where strong leadership. The governor of Arkansas is Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former governor and presidential candidate Mike Huckabee's daughter, and she was the Donald Trump's, I believe, first press secretary. So, and now she's the governor, and she's a strong leader there and advancing the pro-life agenda. So, I'm truly believing that even if this thing were to get the required number of valid signatures and get on the ballot, that it will be defeated by the voters in Arkansas. Okay, last item on today's program. Tomorrow, February 27th, is Michigan's presidential primary. And all these candidates are going to be on the ballot, even the ones who have, at least on the GOP side, even the ones who have dropped out, like DeSantis and Ramaswamy and Chris Christie. Some of these names will still be on the ballot. So the only 2 candidates remaining, obviously, are Trump and Nikki Haley of South Carolina. So pro-life voters in Michigan have an opportunity to decide who they want to represent them in November on the presidential ticket. We help decide that choice. So I'm encouraging all my pro-life friends watching this program, either on the Campus Rights Lab website or just on YouTube, that exercise the franchise, exercise your right to vote, and vote tomorrow in the Michigan primary. We must defeat Joe Biden this November. The lives of unborn babies are at stake, and we must speak for them and vote him out of office. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.